Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. We've got another live interview. This time it is from Dundee, and we've got a bit of an audience around us. The finals of CS for SCL5 have just concluded, and I am here with Beanroll, the founder, owner of Skelp, which I think after this CS performance you can happily say are the biggest org in Scotland.
Oh man, already well, but of course.
Of course. So I'm just going to be asking you a few questions, of course. SCL5 in comparison to last year around, what's the general feeling for you?
I was here pretty much from like the first minute last year to pretty much the end. So I don't know what the league was like earlier on. I only managed to arrive for the CS kicking off, but like, I think anybody that's watched it, and like you can even see, like I can see us here, right?
Yeah,
and the
way back there.
And the way it goes all the way back, like in terms of the actual venue, it's like it's a major upgrade. I was saying to the Esports Scotland guys earlier on, like last year was great. I loved it. It was the first time we were involved in a LAN here, and obviously loved it. Like, got really good fond memories of it. But this year just feels a little bit more like, it feels a little bit more like a main stage of a, what we hope is going to be like a pretty kind of prestigious LAN for people to come and play at and win, hopefully in the future. So love it. I think they've done a great job with it. I think just everything about it, screen looks great, and I'm just hoping, obviously, we've got Rocket League in Val tomorrow. We are obviously only playing in the Rocket League, but I'm hoping that, with it being a Saturday, hopefully the weather's a little bit better and we'll be able to get the crowd that I think the event deserves.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, something else to mention as well, I said a little bit before about being a Scottish org, and I think that is what Skelp is at its roots, right? A Scottish org rather than it being a UK org. What does it mean to hold that mantle?
Look, I've said this loads throughout this year that it's the most important. This is the most important event for me because a lot of people, I suppose, for a lot of our guys, it's maybe not maybe their most important event. For a lot of the guys, I suppose they're a sort of a mix playing under us for this one event, whereas when they're playing in, and excuse my lack of knowledge on the CS scene, but when they're playing the more, is it ESEA, or I don't know how it's pronounced, EC or whatever, but when they're playing that, they're obviously playing it in teams that they'll be scrimming with, and this is a little bit different. But in terms of how I approach it from an org perspective, we entered into everything but Guilty Gear Stride this year, managed to get to the finals in Rocket League and CS. Unfortunately missed out on Val, missed out on League. But the approach to all four of the games was, we just want to be as competitive as possible, and if we can make it to the LAN, that's the most important thing. If we get here and we win, it's obviously a massive bonus, more so for the boys. But it's just, for me, this is the big event in the country. It's the one that we should be looking to try and to be as competitive in as possible. And I think we've done that over last year, we've done it this year, and we'll continue doing it as long as obviously we're continuing to run it. So it's big deal for me.
Yeah, 100%. I think Skelp as an org as a whole is definitely a very inspirational one, at least for the scene, and something that a lot of people look up to as well. Just to double back a little bit, I know you're a football guy at heart. How did you end up getting into esports in the first place then?
So I ran basically I suppose the business I ran was a sports website. It's called Talk and Buzz, and I say it's a sports website. It was mainly a football website because football is like my number one love in life, over my wife, and COVID hit like a lot of people, and obviously esports just exploded. But at the same time, football shut right down. It was really restricted because of COVID, so there just wasn't really anything for us to do, and we were like we needed to pivot to something anyway. And I was like, well, esports makes loads of sense. At the start, it was really just dipping our toe in the water and thinking this could be a wee bit of fun, fill the gap. And then over time, I was like, you know what? There's not really an awful lot of this. First person I spoke to was James at Esports Scotland about does the kind of scene need more orgs? And I think James was pretty kind of unequivocal in the fact that he felt like there wasn't enough orgs, and he needed it if he's going to continue obviously running. Well, it would have been ideal for him if there's more and more orgs in the scene. So it kind of felt like a no-brainer. So that's where we felt like we need to separate ourselves a little bit from the football side of it, because that's not necessarily what we wanted to be known for, and that's where kind of Skelp came from. So I like football, definitely my first love, but I think probably the bigger thing is I just love competition. I love competition, and that's been the main appeal for me with this. I don't play games for fun anymore. I'm terrible at them, but I play them to be, to my level anyway, competitive, and I love watching people competing. So So that was the kind of main inspiration behind starting it, and since then it's just been like 2 years has just went like that.
I think it's that sort of competitive winners mentality as well, which you can see here, right, in the results that Skelp have been able to put forward. When you look at the CS team as well, a team which, you know, have experience playing together before, but, you know, haven't previously been under the org, taking them under the wing and having that, I think, is really key in sort of like the ecosystem of esports in Scotland as well. And I guess what you were saying sort of links on from what my next question would be, and that route to go independent instead of, you know, trying to make your way into esports by working with someone else and really just building it up on your own. What was that process like?
Hard. Like, it's hard. My kind of approach to it always is like community needs to be the first most important thing. Like, there's, you know, everyone's got their own maybe opinions on how esports org should be ran, own opinions on how to do things in esports in general. But from my perspective, there's too many people that come in, spend a load of money, don't build up any sort of community behind their teams, and then a couple of years the money runs out and there's no team to like. It's like if you're a smart business person, which I'm probably not, but if you're a smart business person, you can go and borrow all that money off a idea, basically, off esports is a big market, let's go and try and get a chunk of it. My approach is like, I want, and I think it's, you know, I think it's shown in when you come to this event, and you came last year, that you see we get great support, and, you know, our people that are in our community like identify with the teams and they want the teams to do well, and obviously I'm always pushing for them to come as much as possible, but like community was the first most important thing, and it continues to always be like the main motivator for me, I suppose. We build everything off the back of that, and then when it comes to the teams, like the Val team this season, we you know, admittedly we didn't have, you know, the strongest Val team. There's a lot of like mixes. Our Val team was guys that have been representing us in a few different things throughout the year, but the most important thing is that they come for the community. And it doesn't, you know, we didn't get to the Val final, but the guys had a right good crack at it. And like with the CS team, it's not like we've just went and picked up some randoms. Like Meffew's been part of our community for, you know, the last like year and a half. He's a guy I absolutely love, and I was just like to Meffew, would love to have you as part of our CS team, or you build the CS team, whoever it is that you want to play with. And that's where it all comes through, community first, and then hopefully everyone starts to go, you know what, they're a bit different. Like, I know I'm not reinventing the wheel, like community's been a big thing in esports in general, but for me it was community is the most important thing first. That's what is going to motivate people to support us. They're going to feel connected to us, they're then going to play as part of us, they're going to follow us, and just in general be able to all kind of go in the right direction together. Because for me there would be nothing better than, you know, this arena in the next few years, if we move to the Dundee arena, being packed full of Skelp fans just supporting us, who have been supporting us for the last like 3-4 years.
I think community as well is something that you can certainly pride yourself upon. I mean, you have plenty of people here in attendance to watch you guys effectively anyway, and also the streams that you do, getting everyone in, you know, always trying to gauge what people are feeling about certain things, the community tournaments, that kind of thing. I think it's really instrumental on your streams as well. You know, you do like to drop in a little tidbit about what is to come, not to, you know, maybe pry too much information from potentially sealed lips, but what could be on the horizon next for Skelp? I mean, this event not done, but is there anything that you're looking forward to?
I wish I could, to be honest with you, Hazza, I wish we had, you know, I did have something, to be honest with you, because I would have no problem in telling you. I think for me it's just like, last year it was great to have SEL so we could build everything towards it. You know, we could work with partners, like we've got pretty much the same partners as we had last year. Like HyperX didn't support us last year, but they supported us this year, which is great. Utopia and Kingston supported us last year, so it's brilliant to have them back. And hopefully what we can do is we can just kind of show them, look, there's value in supporting the esports scene in Scotland, and that should hopefully be repaid. Maybe not straight away, but it will be repaid over the next like year, couple of years. So my hope obviously is that just in the short term we're able to use what we do from SEL, whether it's winning or just, you know, the content that we create. Doing things like this is obviously great. Getting the community together, all that stuff, that we can use that as a little bit of a springboard to, I suppose, a big thing for me. I really wanted to be at more lands this year. We were at more lands this year than we were last year, but it's still probably not enough. And truthfully, like, the only way that we can kind of do that, you know, which is a shame, but the only way we can really do that is if we have more support. And all I'll try and do when we come to these things is do the right things so that we can then go and speak to the right people to try and get the support that I think the community deserves. Because Scotland's you're like an adopted Scot now, but Scotland's like really full of really passionate people, and I feel like we've got really passionate, talented people in the community in loads of different ways, and it just feels like we're waiting for someone just to support us that little bit more, so that we can do even more as well. Because there's tons of stuff we could go and do. So even though there's not something specific, I suppose it's just using the momentum from this into next year and trying to just build on it and come back to SEL 6 hopefully and be stronger.
I mean, hopefully everything will eventually fall into place. The future is bright, right? And, you know, if you're watching right now and you've got some money to splash, then Skelp would be the place to spend it. There's I think with every event as well, and I mean, like you said, it's sort of adopted Scot in a way. I came in last year, and just even the progression, how I felt from last year to this year has been ridiculous. But yeah, no, the future's looking bright. I wonder if we should call upon the past for a moment and see if we can catch a quick word from Meffew, because I did promise him that he'd have an interview. Meff, come here. Let's get him in just for a quick tidbit before we close out. No, we'll close out together. Meff, you've just bagged a result here at SEL 5 CS. I heard apparently that Bean was wondering what had been going on in between a couple of those maps, but you made good of it in the end.
I don't know. I mean, like, we lost first map and then we're down like 9-0 second map, and then John or Dutchy, he was literally like, right, guys, don't know what we're doing. Like, literally, like, these Russians are better than this. Like, we're better than these Russians on Face It, you know? We're just gonna stop playing like smart people, just right, and just doing all this. So
that one's not going to make it in the final cut.
Fudged out.
Yeah, that's alright. But no, it was just a case of that, and like we kind of got saved by the tech issue at 14-14. But after that round, I'm pretty sure I killed Isaac kind of 1v1 and murdered him. So I don't know, easy comeback.
The Prince of Pole Champ as well, sort of titled. I think it was you that came up with that name initially. It was, but yeah. Now you have that first ring on your finger, right? You got to be feeling happy about that as well, and to move from second to first place.
Yeah, definitely. I think like coming second last year, like I didn't expect it as well. I was kind of like, oh my god. But this year, like even after the first map, I was kind of like, right, like we're the best team. Like we can still like focus up and do whatever. And it was important. I don't know how we came back on T-side overpass. Like I would have not expected that. And then again, T-side Mirage. It was just we literally got carried by Harper this game. It was unbelievable. But it's glad to win finally. So.
How was it released? Yeah. Go on.
So I don't know if you'll be able to see this, right? But this is Skelp #1 fan Listo. There we go. Yeah, it says meows for Meffew.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah. It's like the little sticker capsule for the next SCL. Perhaps that'll be where the next major event is held.
He is the most popular CS player in Scotland. He's got to be.
I don't know. It's either me or Wolfie. Wolfie's done a lot. Wolfie's achieved a lot more.
Love Wolfie, but the People's Champ.
Yeah, the People's Champion. I think that's certainly one. Maybe the Prince of the People in a way, if you want to go so far. But it's been a pleasure, boys. Thanks for hopping on the interview. More of the weekend to look forward to. More coming up, of course. But I mean, for people watching later on, do you want to shout out any socials? Not that the HazzaJC vouch probably carries too much weight.
I mean, I would say follow me on Twitter, Meffew, but Twitter's probably going to go down with the Elon Musk stuff. So I don't know, man. Do what they can, I guess. I don't know.
I'll be like big shout out to all the boys that won for us tonight. Yeah. I always forget one, but Meth, Synergy, Wolfie, Dutchy, and Harper.
Yeah.
Nailed it. And then big shout out to HyperX, Utopia, Kingston Fury.
I mean, guys, if you want to sponsor me as well, then I would be more than happy. But
this is going to be like that. I feel a wee bit of Joe Rogan to this tonight.
perhaps. Anyway, that's been it. Absolute pleasure, boys, as always. And there we go. That's the Skelp interview. Done.